All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Lecture 26, Part 5, PC Gaming Today. So, we're going to talk just kind of briefly about PC gaming and where it's at today, and that'll wrap it up for Lecture 26. So, as this era sort of started around 2013, 2012, even at that point, 90% of all PC games were purchased digitally. At this point, digital distribution is the norm for PC gaming. You can't even really buy physical PC games anymore. It's very, very rare. You can still buy a lot of the point cards or value cards for things like subscriptions or WoW or Riot Points or whatever it is, whatever game you fancy, or gift cards for your favorite digital storefront, essentially. But essentially, there are a bunch of different platforms now. So you have things like Steam, of course, which is the most dominant, the Microsoft Windows Store. Ubisoft and EA each have their own stores. GoodOldGames.com from CD Projekt Red, who makes The Witcher. The Epic storefront, which is probably one of the biggest challenges to Steam that they've ever faced, is coming up. And there are new game development tools, so things like Unity, things that allow their game to easily move from one platform to another, including PC. So there's just a lot of games, and they are all available digitally on the PC platform. Steam, though, is still dominant. It's the oldest and most established of these companies. So it'll be interesting to see how this evolves over the years. And some companies like EA, who had pulled a lot of their games from Steam to support their Origin storefront, have since started putting their titles back on Steam. So it's likely the marketplace can support multiple digital storefronts, but it's not an infinite number because people don't want to have to jump from platform to platform to access their games. So it'll be really interesting to see how this evolves over the next 5 to 10 years. So to give you an example of the one of the challenges facing PC gaming today is the fact that there are just so many games released on Steam. So in 2018, Steam had almost 10,000 games released, 9,300 games. So I want you to think about that. Think about how many games you actually play in a year. Is it more than 50? Is it 100? So they had 9,300 games released on the platform. Now, a lot of them are shovelware or kind of mediocre or not very good games at all, but they were still released on the platform. So since 2016, so over half of what's on Steam right now has been released since 2016 within just the past 5 years. Remember that Steam was initially released in 2003. So for the first 13 years of its existence, Steam had about 14,000 games released, about 1,000 games a year. And then from the period of 2016 to 2018, they had 16,000 games released. More than half of the total games released have been released in the last 4 years. And so this makes Steam a very challenging environment for game developers, right? And even for us as consumers. There's so much stuff on Steam. How in the world can you find what you're looking for? I mean, Steam tries things like they have algorithms that sort of show you, hey, we saw that you like this game, so you might like that game. But if you're a game developer, particularly if you're a small indie developer or a small team of developers, getting released on Steam is great because it means your game's available. But what's going to make your game stand out in a sea of 90,000, 9,000 other games in a year? So it's a really big challenge. Consumer wise, it's also challenging, right? I love that all these games are available, but it's really difficult for me to know which games are going to be ones that I like, or which games out of these sea of top selling games are actually good games, which ones are, uh, you know, which ones are going to be the games that I play for years, which ones are going to be the ones that I try for 2 minutes. There's just so much involved with this, just the sheer volume of games on Steam right now. And this is true across all the digital platforms. Sony also just ran a big sale, and Nintendo's, they've all run these great big sales where there's thousands of titles. I mean, just the sheer amount of time it takes you to go to glance through their sales, you can burn like half an hour, 45 minutes just looking at what's available without even thinking about what you might want to buy. So it's very challenging, probably more so to developers than consumers, but even for consumers, this is a little bit of an overload when there's just this many titles available. I mean, no physical store is going to have that number, so it's very challenging. That being said, I did want to hit on just sort of the biggest genre of the last few years, probably the MOBAs, League of Legends, and Dota 2. Prior to this, then with the Battle Royale versions, the Battle Royale games, including PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Fortnite. You could also probably say the auto chess games like the Dota Underground, I think is what it's called. But we're just going to focus on the Battle Royale for this semester. So the battle royale games are basically King of the Hill, Last Man Standing style gameplay. Basically, these are online multiplayer games. It puts 100, it drops 100 people onto an island, and either as individuals or as small teams, they try to kill everyone else and be the last person standing. So these games are extremely popular on excuse me, these games are extremely popular on streaming services. There are a lot of people going Twitch to watch people play PUBG or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and also Fortnite are the two biggest ones. These games are often offered as both traditional paid and free to play formats. So PlayerUnknown's Battleground is on PC was paid. On mobile, it's free to play. Fortnite from Epic Games is probably the biggest one of these in the world right now. It's free to play across all platforms, mobile, console, PC. So it has a humongous user base. And these games, again, widely popular when they release new maps or new seasons with new skins and emotes and dances and stuff, new guns, what have you. Very, very popular. Fortnite, of course, is the big one of these. Free to play battle royale style game from Epic Games. It's available on all platforms. In 2018, it generated about $2.4 billion by itself, the one title. It was estimated to earn $2.5 million a day in revenue. And this is from people buying costumes and dance moves and emotes and all kinds of stuff. So you get, it's just they have a big store that you can check out. We might look at this on stream on Tuesday. I haven't decided. I'm pretty bad at these kind of games, but we got to stream something. Um, so again, just a lot because the player base is so humongous. It just makes the revenue generation possibilities really big. So this Fortnite in particular, I feel like is a very good example of games as a service, right? It's an online game. It constantly gets new features. It constantly gets updates. Right, they had the big event where the like world ended and everyone was wondering what was going to happen, and then it opened up as kind of a redo. And so again, if you're a Fortnite player, there's always going to be new stuff, new content to consume or to enjoy in the game. And again, this makes Epic a ton of revenue across the board, but it does raise some issues in terms of game development as things like crunch. When does Fortnite development ever wind down? It never does. The only way for them to drive revenue in Fortnite is to constantly produce new content. And that puts a pretty big strain on the people who actually make the games we like to play, right? The teams on Fortnite don't get big breaks, right? As soon as season two is done, they got to get ready for season three. Or maybe if you enjoy Overwatch, well, it's time to make this year's holiday skins for Easter or Halloween or Christmas. Oh, but now we have to have a special event so everyone comes back and plays, if our numbers start going down. So for Epic, the publisher, this is fantastic. A huge player base, constant stream of revenue. Players like it because it's free to play and you can spend as little or as much as you want, depending on how much you enjoy the game. But on the game development side, this model presents a lot of challenges because it just requires a constant stream of content in order to be profitable. So again, this has just been a very brief overview where PC gaming is today. It rakes in tons of dollars. The free to play model is prevalent in a lot of almost across all genres. And recently, these battle royale games have been the big thing going in gaming, and that's partially due to how popular they are on streams, but also because a lot of people enjoy these kind of games. All right, so that went just a hair long, so we're going to wrap it up there, and we'll see you for lecture 27. Stay safe and well.